In our first stories, 3 news sources have gathered that the New Patriotic Party NPP has settled on November 4, 2023 to hold a presidential primary to elect a flag bearer for the 2024 general elections. This follows discussions at the party's National Council meeting in Accra on Monday, April 3, 2023. The party will hold a special conference on August 26, 2023 if the aspirants are more than 5 to ensure the numbers are reduced to 5. Nominations for the presidential primary will open on Monday, 26, 2023 May and close on June 24, 2023 for parliamentary primaries, which will be held on February 24, 2024 or 2023. Nominations will open on December 2023 and close on January 4, 2024. Now, according to sources, nomination forms for the parliamentary primaries will be sold at 3,000 cedis and filing fees at 35,000 Ghana cedis. Now, moving on, parliamentary aspirant of the Ayawaso West Wogan constituency, John Dumelo, will be vetted today at the Greater Accra Regional Office of the National Democratic Congress, NDC. His vetting on Monday was postponed due to some internal issues of the party. Now, meanwhile, Francis Xavier Sosu has been cleared to contest unopposed in the Medina constituency.
A charged jamboree involving supporters at the entrance of the Greater Accra Regional Secretariat of the NDC. Supporters of John Dumelo, who is seeking to contest the Ayawaso West Wogon seat, were disappointed over the rescheduling of their vetting to today.
Ayawaso West Wogon, we've not started the vetting at all. The candidates have not even presented themselves to us because early in the morning we had indication from the party that that constituency should be put on hold. So as vetting committee members, we have also listened to the leadership.
The incumbent MP for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, however, had his future cleared. He will be going unopposed after the vetting panel disqualified sole contender, Prince Moses Zakari.
As you are all aware, everybody is at liberty to contest, but when you want to contest, you must contest in accordance with the rules. Now, having gone through the process, I have been declared as fit for the contest. However, my opponent was declared as unfit, not qualified. And so what that means is that I'm going unopposed.
Nana Oyebampo Ado and Linda Asibi Awuni, who are both contesting the Adenta seat, went through successfully.
At the end of the day, it is one NDC, one umbrella, one party, and our objective is to win December 2024. Nana Oye is the best candidate for Adenta.
So we are going back to the grounds and just go and increase our momentum in the constituency and make sure that we are winning and we are winning big.
The regional vetting of parliamentary aspirants is expected to end Wednesday, April 5. However, vetting of aspirant for the Ododo-Diodio, Ayawaso Central and Amasaman constituencies have been put on hold for strategic reasons. Christian Yali, TV3 News, Accra.
Now, Ghana's election management body is expected to hold a meeting to consider a report by Parliament which rejected the Commission's proposed constitutional instrument CI, which sought to make the Ghana card the sole document for registration as a voter. Now, the chairperson of the EC, Jean Mensah, told Parliament's Subsidiary Legislation Committee that contrary to the fears of the minority, the proposed CI would rather enhance the credibility of the Ghanaian voters register. But the majority and minority sides of Parliament reached a consensus to reject the CI and implored the Commission to adopt the guarantor system for the registration of new voters. The Subsidiary Legislation Committee advised that Parliament holds a meeting with the EC and NIA in order to advance on the new CI for the two institutions to give assurance to the House with a consensus address during the briefing. Well, the Electoral Commission is expected to meet over the committee report and make considerations for the way forward. The Commission may either accept or reject the report by the committee. On to some more stories. The passage of the 3 revenue bills last Friday has opened up what many experts say could become an even more complicated period for Ghanaians. Here's a report on reactions from multiple sources.
Honourable members, with this, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022 is read the 3rd time and passed.
Brace up. You may be about to pay more on your monthly earnings or the regular things you buy. This is after the Parliament of Ghana passed 3 revenue bills in a long session last week before their Easter break. The Excise Duty, Growth and Sustainability, and Income Tax Amendment bills went through a closely contested vote of 137 to 136 after intense lobbying by the NPP government. But in reality, what does this mean for me, you, and the regular business person or the giant company?
It essentially means that for manufacturers or importers who would be paying the excise duties, every product they manufacture or import will see an increase in cost. Obviously, the consumer remains the most affected. Now, for companies which will be affected by the Growth and Sustainability Bill, they will now have a percentage of their profit going into taxes. And as every wise company will do, they might have to consider increasing costs of services to make up for the loss. Now, the income tax, on the other hand, will affect high-income earners as they will be made to pay more taxes. In effect, everyone will bear the brunt.
The ruling government was desperate for the bill to go through, given its potential ramifications on the country's revenue base.
America is ready for us. Germany has been here. The finance minister has been. The Europeans are behind us. The fund is behind us. It's left of our own parliament.
But only a few years ago, the same government seemed completely unhappy with the concept of raising more revenue via taxes. Take, for instance, this comment by current Vice President Baumia.
The NPP will shift the focus of economic policy away from taxation to production.
Experts suggest the current trend is not dissimilar.
On the bit of discretionary expenditures where you talk about government infrastructure projects and other things, and also when you look at the government machinery itself in terms of number of ministers, number of government appointees and all that. I mean, all these are a drain on the budget. So when you look at the expenditure side, we want to see some commitment.
The latest bills could trigger significant disaffection among the country's workforce. So just how have people been reacting to this?
It will affect us. Now things are not going on well. Business are not going on well. Companies are suffering. And you are bringing these new taxes. What for?
It's going to affect my salary as well. So it's either my salary will be stagnant or it will decrease. I'm a student as well. I'll find it difficult in paying fees. I'll find it difficult in buying things for myself, in paying rent and all that.
With the new taxes, government is expected to rake in an annual income of 400 million from excise duties, 2.2 billion from growth and sustainability tax, and 1.2 billion from income tax. Judith Awuchitando, TV3 News. Let's stay on this subject now. And the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has warned governments risk missing its revenue target if industry has to contend with the introduction of the 3 revenue bills. Now, in a statement issued Monday, April 3, 2023, the AGI expressed disappointment in the passage of the bill, saying it only poses dire consequences for the industry. Now, although the AGI says it appreciates the urgent need of an IMF bailout, it also says the need should not be at the expense of the industrial sector's growth. It has therefore called on government for engagements on measures to motivate local industries to forestall negative consequences of the new taxes on them. Now let's move on to some more stories, still staying on this particular issue of the taxes. And moving on, in a related development, organized labor has kicked against the new tax bills passed by Parliament. Now, the Trades Union Congress, TUC, and National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, has threatened to protest if deductions are made from workers' salaries.
Just by a political fiat, Treasury bill rates were brought down. Not because of demand and supply, not the market factors playing anything. It's just by a political fiat that we have Treasury bill rates come down. Just last week, policy rates have been increased. Businesses are now going to pay more. The excise tax and all the 3 taxes that we're talking about are all going to affect businesses. So there's going to be a state of economic malaise that is going to affect the people. They increase salaries by 30%. The next day, they increase electricity tariffs by 29.9% and increase water by about some 15%. And now you bring in income tax. So where is the 30%? It's been eroded. If by the end of April, we see a dip in our salaries, we don't have a choice than to advise ourselves.
Increase in taxes has its own positive and negatives. And the negative effects of increment in taxes is that manufacturers, companies, who produce locally, when the tax burden is too much, the only effect or the only action they take is to reduce employment. So this one is going to affect employment. Management are going to lay off workers if they are unable to pay their taxes, or they are not to meet their income as against their expenditure. And we don't know whether this time around the expected income from this taxes that they have increased is going to be used for what it meant for. Because all the time the increased taxes, they come with reasons why they are increasing taxes. They are going to do ABC, but at the end of the day, nothing is done. That is why we know that taxes are for development, but when we pay, we don't see the development that we envisage. So nobody will be happy to pay tax and doesn't see the corresponding development in the country.
Let's stay on the subject. It's been days after Parliament controversially passed 3 new revenue bills expected to impose more taxes on consumers and industries. But even before President Akufo-Addo assents to the bills, MP for Nanton, Mohammed Tuferu, who abandoned the hospital for the House of Legislature to participate in the head count for approval of the bill, has been on the receiving end of criticisms over his conduct. Now, many have described the decision as dangerous, but the under-fire MP says he considered his life less important than passage of the tax bills.
It is emerging Member of Parliament for Nanton, who was shuttled to Parliament to participate in approval of 3 fresh revenue bills last Friday, had his wounds stitched in the House of Legislature. Mohammed Tuferu has come under severe criticism over his decision to abandon the hospital just to participate in parliamentary proceedings after being involved in a ghastly road accident. The Deputy Agric Minister, whose vehicle was mangled beyond recognition, said he decided to proceed to Parliament after the accident because he wanted the government tax bills to be approved. Second Majority Chief Whip Habib Idrisu has said the Nanton MP sustained bruises from the accident and was attended to by nurses and doctors in the washroom of the House of Legislature. In the last few hours, Mohammed Tuferu has been speaking, justifying his decision. Speaker of Parliament Aban Bagwing says he did nothing untoward by including Mohammed Tuferu in the head counts that were carried out on the floor of Parliament during the tax approvals. The Nanton lawmaker is quoted to have said he considered his life less important than the passage of the tax bills. The MP also admitted that his excessive speed led to Friday's accident. Many have since described the actions of the MP as irresponsible and dangerous.
Well, Member of Parliament for Zabila Cletus Avuka has described the decision by the Nanton MP to insist on being in Parliament after sustaining injuries during the accident as irresponsible. The former majority leader says the MP could have lost his life in the process. He wants government to properly program its business to avoid last-ditch approvals.
I'm surprised that he can say that. Supposing he lost his life in the process, where would he have been in Parliament to take part in the vote? You must be alive to be able to participate and to be able to be counted. If you are not alive, how are you going to be to count for it? But even if he was wounded such that he couldn't come to the chamber, he had to be rushed to hospital. How would he have taken part? I mean, that is with the greatest respect, that is not a very responsible statement to make. We need you alive in Parliament to take a decision. We don't take decisions based on dead bodies or very ill people. That I don't think that is a proper way to go about things. He should have said he regretted that. It was wishful thinking that let me drive very fast, I can still make it. It was hope against hope, and unfortunately made that incident. We thank God for his life anyway. But this tells us that we must program better. The executive must program more responsive in their programming. Parliament itself must be more responsive. If there's something that we think that we don't have time to do due diligence, we should defer it to another date so that the executive will learn a lesson.
Now on to some more stories. Scores of caterers on the school feeding program in the Ashanti region were left in shock when the Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah snapped them on Monday. The aggrieved caterers had gone to the Regional Coordinating Council to present a petition. Here's a report by Benjamin Edu.
For weeks, these caterers have been protesting for the release of payments, which is almost a year in arrears. They also want an upward adjustment of the allocation fee from 97 pesos per head to 3 Ghana cedis. They have attributed the demand for adjustment to hikes in prices of foodstuff. On March 20, they besieged the Regional School Feeding Secretariat, hoping to be reimbursed, but that did not happen. On March 27, they were left with another disappointment. A petition was to be presented to the regional minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, after weeks of no response from the central government. However, they were left disappointed when the minister snubbed them.
It's rather unfortunate. We came here just to present our petition because we will say that he is the president in Ashanti region for the government. And so we just came here to present our petition. But he came out to us that we should go out. We cannot come here to shout. Meanwhile, women, when they are angry, they have to shout, they have to make noise, and it is normal. So what we were expecting from him is to just come and receive it and tell us something that we'll be very happy with. But unfortunately, he just snubbed us. And so we are not happy.
Now, French State Secretary of the Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs has added her voice to the debate over proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values bill to criminalize the activities of LGBTQ+ in Ghana. Speaking at the ambassador's residence as part of her official visit to Ghana, the diplomat says there's a need to respect the human rights of people, including LGBTQ+.
LGBT community. In my country and in the European Union, we promote human rights. And of course, in my ministry, we have an ambassador to promote LGBT rights. So, what I can say that this is our values, and wherever I go in Africa, I will continue to say that we have to respect all of us, the LGBT community. This is a question of human rights, and I always say that.
Now on to some more stories. Days after Parliament amended portions of the Criminal Offences Act to decriminalize attempted suicide, some people have been speaking up about their near-death experience with mental health challenges. One of them is comedian and actor Funny Face. Now, the entertainer has been opening up on his struggle with depression and suicidal tendencies during a meltdown he had in 2021. Funny Face, in recounting his experience, advised listeners of 3FM Drive against contemplating suicide. He says, by all means, seek help.
That died at the psychiatric. They told me the news. They gave me the news at the psychiatric. Somebody who was trying to recover and come back to life. They broke that news. That news made me feel I wanted to die. But listen, this is the catch here. Everything that you are going through right now, if you stay focused and steadfast in the Lord, trust me, your end, you look back at this day and you laugh. I'm a living testament. I'm telling you this. When you come back from depression, that's when it is worse than first. The consequences and the guilt will be weighing on you. Our best didn't spare me. I was robbed. Our best came to rob me. I only had one day to rest, Monday. Tuesday, 6th December, my father died.
Wow.
Yeah, somebody who have come back from psychiatric. Listen, that's why, listen, what you are going through now, cast your mind, there will be somebody that you trust. Don't give up on that person. Tell the person everything. When I came back, everything was spoiled. And I'm just telling you how bad it got. Trying to be on my feet again. I lost my dad. Our best came to rob me. That one, we kept it a secret because my mother said, don't bring that news out to my brother. You've suffered enough. Keep that one. So that one is not out. But this is the first time I'm saying it here. And I'm saying it because of your current situation. Like, I can feel, say, you are the edge. Bruv, I've been there before. I wanted to keep myself. Please, don't do it. Don't do it. If you don't remember anything, remember Funny Face from Choco Trotro. Remember Funny Face from Cow and Chicken. Remember Funny Face from Kaswa Trotro. How happy he made you, everything that he went through. But finally, such a guy have to be a public radical. People need to insult somebody like that who built his career. Yes. Bruv, don't do it.
Well, suicide is definitely not an option, but do reach out to the Mental Health Authority on 020-6814-666 or 050-99-14046. Now on to some foreign stories, and former President Donald Trump is traveling to New York for his expected Manhattan court appearance today to be arraigned following last week's historic grand jury indictment. Trump faces more than 30 counts related to business fraud in the indictment, according to the report. Now, several media outlets, including CNN, have asked the judge to unseal the indictment and for permission to broadcast Tuesday's proceedings. Trump's legal team has said he will voluntarily surrender to New York law enforcement and plans to mount legal challenges. Trump was vowed to continue his 2024 bid despite the charges, and his allies have already torn into grand jury's decision. Trump is the first current or former president in U.S. history who has faced criminal charges. The district attorney's office has been investigating Trump's alleged role in a hush money payment scheme involving adult film star Stormy Daniels. And that's all for the 6 a.m. news here on TV3. My name is Judith Awotri Tando, but of course, Roland is here with me in the studio with the rest of New Day. Good morning.